Yo, what is going on? Degeneration Jess here, and this is another episode of the Jesters Lounge. I know most of y'all on my channels have been seeing a lot of AR stuff. I figured it's a craze and I might as well jump on it. So that's what we did, but we'll do some palate cleansers today. But first, we are going to do some wrestling news, and then we're going to do some sports news. So, with that being said, let's get right into it with CM Punk, because he always has an opinion on a certain wrestler. So, here we go. With multiple world title reigns, including a current one as WWE World Heavyweight Champion under his belt, CM Punk has already established himself as a major player in professional wrestling. When looking at the future, he sees potential for others to do as well. During an interview with Mostly Sports, Punk spoke highly of his WWE Raw adversary, Braun Breaker. Yeah, I do see the future of the business in him, whether I like it or not, Punk said. He's somebody that I think you wouldn't be able to stop if you tried. He's got all the tools. Second generation superstar. His dad and his uncle were possibly one of the greatest tag teams of the 80s and the 90s. So yeah, he's one of those blue chip prospects that we always like to talk about. Since joining the Vision on the heels of WWE WrestleMania 41, Braun Breaker has seen visions of himself being the face of the WWE for the next 2 decades. Something undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes has also backed as a likely possibility. So far in his WWE career, Breaker has enjoyed run as NXT Tag Team Champion, WWE Intercontinental Champion, and NXT Champion, with his eyes now set on claiming Punk's world title next. In contrast to Breaker, Punk noted that Dominic Mysterio, another former Intercontinental Champion, is lacking the potential of being a future great in WWE. Through storylines, Punk and Mysterio have been positioned as enemies, so much so that the Second City Saint recently implored Roxanne Perez to stop hanging around Dominic in everyday life, though Punk previously admitted to being a mentor to the third generation wrestler. If you use any of the quotes in this article, please credit Mostly Sports with "will do." This is the source, Wrestling Inc. and mostly and I credit Mostly Sports with Wrestling Inc. for the transcription. Okay, let's get into some Jade Cargill. Facts about Jade Cargill only hardcore fans will know. Jade Cargill made a huge splash in AEW, becoming the first ever TBS Women's Champion. While holding on to an undefeated streak spanning a wide range of opponents, Cargill seemingly came out of nowhere, as her formal wrestling training before appearing on AEW lasted a little less than a year. Jade had more of a fitness athlete background than a wrestling background. When she entered the professional wrestling scene, since then Jade Cargill has become a dominant and flashy champion on weekly AEW television and has shown great improvement in her career in both the microphone and the ring. Cargill keeps a pretty low profile outside wrestling spotlight and likes to keep her professional and personal life separate as she can. Over the years, Jade has come out of her shell a little bit and has begun to pull back the curtain of all the work she has put into her character. It's not often that a wrestler can achieve a low profile in their professional life, but since Jade does this so well, there are many lesser known facts about the first ever TBS champion. She played basketball. Jade attended both Sebastian River High School and later Vero Beach High School, where she played on the basketball teams of both schools. She helped both high school teams secure a spot in the basketball district championship and was named MVP as a senior at Vero Beach High School. Jade didn't stop there. She continued to play basketball during her studies at Jacksonville University. As a first-year student, she received honors for Team MVP and Freshman of the Year. This early success helped her build the confidence to continue with basketball for her entire college career. By her senior year, Cargill was named Athletic Sun preseason first team. With all her success in basketball throughout her high school and college career, it was very poetic that Jade Cargill had her debut match years later alongside NBA Hall of Famer the Diesel Shaq. And Brandon Phillips and Jade Cargill have a daughter together. Yep. Jade Cargill likes to keep her personal life private, but that can be hard to do as a professional wrestler. It's even harder when your partner is a former Major League Baseball player, Brandon Phillips. Phillips made his rounds on a few different MLB teams during his career, but he is most known for being the second baseman for the Cincinnati Reds between 2006 and 2016. Cargill and Phillips have been together for over 5 years. Phillips and Cargill share a daughter, Bailey Quinn. Bailey was on an AEW Dynamite right after Jade won the TBS title. Jade had an interview Insider and talked about what it was like to have a daughter by her side. Through her training and in the crowd for her big championships wins, she gave me pep talks and we cut promos with one another. Just having my daughter there inspires me a lot because I am here for the next generation. Jade went on to say that she is very open to the idea of her daughter pursuing wrestling in the future, and she wants her to feel empowered to enter an industry like professional wrestling. Jade Cargill has a master's degree in child psychology. Oh wow, that's cool. The higher education of wrestlers can be very based on the route they take to get into the business. Jade Cargill is one of the few full-time wrestlers in the industry who holds a master's degree. Cargill started by getting her undergraduate degree in social science at Jacksonville University and continued her education from there. Not too long after, Jade pursued and achieved her master's degree in child psychology. Shortly after graduating, Jade began to put her degree to use by working as a psychologist with the children in Florida schools. However, in an interview with the State Florida Sports Podcast, Jade mentions that she wasn't mentally mature enough to be in the position that she was. She went on to explain further, saying that when you work with children in that setting, you have to take your heart out of your chest. Jade felt the emotional strain and that working in the child psychology field could take on someone. At the same time, Jade was in talks with Mark Henry about getting herself into the wrestling business, and she felt it was time for a change. Jade was mentored by Mark Henry and trained by Heath Slater. After Jade Cargill realized that child psychology was not the path she envisioned, well, at least it's something to fall back on, just in case, the wrestling, falls through. She envisioned it to be. She began to pursue professional wrestling along with the help of Mark Henry and former WWE wrestler Heath Slater. Finding a starting point can be tough in professional wrestling, but Mark Henry recommended that Jade check out the face-to-face wrestling school, owned by Roger Borger and Slater. In an episode of AEW Unrestricted Podcast, Jade said Slater would come in a few times and help her train. Jade Cargill did not spend much time in the face-to-face wrestling school before she moved to Nightmare Factory, where she would train more specifically for AEW. Despite a short training session at face-to-face wrestling, she credits both Heath and Henry for getting her fully prepared to not only join the AEW roster, but also her training sessions at the Nightmare Factory. Jade turned down a WWE contract. Yeah, she did, but she's a current women's champion right now. Since 2019, wrestlers have to consider whether they feel their talents would be better used in AEW or WWE. For Jade Cargill, this was never a question. Jade went on to an episode of Talk is Jericho, spoke about the opportunity that WWE presented her. She mentioned that at first WWE questioned her commitment to the industry. On the podcast, Jade mentioned that she was rich and didn't need wrestling, but she did it because she loved it. WWE read this attitude as not willing to go all in on their brand. Despite the hesitations, WWE still offered her a contract, but Jade was put off by one more thing. The major red flag for Jade was the fact that they grilled her about having a daughter. WWE was concerned about how Jade would manage a young child and her wrestling career. Jade gave WWE many potential scenarios, such as a 24-hour nanny or how her partner could watch her daughter regardless. Cargill felt like WWE didn't trust her right off the bat. Ultimately, Jade decided to sign with AEW, stating that it made me feel at ease, but the decision I wanted to make, I didn't have to relocate. I felt at home. Obviously, WWE was upset by Jade's choice, but she felt like she made the best possible move for herself and her family. Jade Cargill's wrestling inspiration was China. That right there is a good inspiration. China was the first of her kind, a trailblazing first woman to hold the Intercontinental Champion, the first woman to be in the Royal Rumble. Yep. Jade Cargill is one of the most built and muscular female wrestlers on the circuit today. Cargill talked with Aubrey Edwards about it and on an episode of the AEW Unrestricted podcast, saying that she always had a muscular frame. However, her muscular look always got her teased in school, and other students would mention that she looked like a man. Jane mentions that she looked up to China in the 1990s because China always embraced her look. I remember growing up and watching China and seeing how she just embodied, just love how she looked, and it just did nothing but empower me and make me say, you know what, I look good. Thanks to heroes like China, instead of shying away from her body type, Jade Cargill leaned into it. The physique of Cargill is one of the major pieces of her character that gives her that wow factor to the fans, maybe tuning into AEW program for the first time. Her commitment to her body image has also helped her go down different career avenues such as fitness modeling and workout entrepreneurship. Jane Cargill owns a workout-based subscription company. Wow, she did. Diamond Dallas Page was a trailblazer in taking his workout routines and yoga practices that he mastered while on the road and helping others get in shape after his wrestling career came to an end. Jade Cargill started a business that is similar to what DDP has done, but Jade is in the prime of her career while she's doing it. Cargill runs a business called Jade Cargill Fitness, where clients can sign up for workout subscriptions depending on what they want to work on with their fitness, along with a fitness guide. Each program includes a meal plan that accompanies your workout. There are two major programs offered: Jade's 8-minute abs and Move 30-day. You can also choose to purchase both the subscriptions for a discounted price. Jade's goal with her fitness program is to guide her clients into a better physical and mental state in their life. Jade uses her tenacious attitude in her advertising by motivating customers with the tagline, "You are not a product of your circumstances. You are a product of your decisions. Are you ready?" Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall has worked closely with Jade. After leaving wrestling school, Jade Cargill began to train hard for the AEW roster. When she became familiar with the ins and outs of AEW, Jade was assigned to QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes as coaches. Cargill credits QT and Dustin for making her debut so smooth. During her interview with the AEW Unrestricted podcast, she explained that she rehearsed the whole segment with her and made sure everything was perfect before it happened. Cargill went on to explain that they made her instant exposure to the wrestling business very relaxing. Jade loved that Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall gave her different parts of what she needed to be ready for AEW television. Dustin is all in when it comes to the women's division, as well as QT. Dustin is very honest. If you're out there looking crazy, he will definitely tell you that you're out there looking crazy. Cargill admits that coming from an athletic background, she will take all coaching that she can get when it comes to the world of wrestling. Jade continues to use the advice of her coaches and mentors, improving her character on a weekly basis. Shaquille O'Neal. helped make Jade Cargill's debut as a big deal. Jade Cargill exploded onto the scene by having her debut match in a tag team with none other than Shaquille O'Neal. With Jade coming from a basketball background, it was fitting that she found a tag team partner in Shaq. They took on the team of Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. On an episode of the Zaslaw show, Jade talked about TV with Shaq as a dream come true, as she remembered watching him when she was growing up and going through her own basketball career. Shaq and Jade exchanged words before going out to the ring, and Jade recalls a specific part of the conversation that really jazzed her up. I said, "You ready?" He looked at me and said, "Are you ready? This is my world. I work in entertainment. Are you ready? Don't embarrass me." That little fire under my ass. It was a surreal moment. This moment when people can see me, this is the time for me to make my mark. Both Shaq and Jade impressed the audience with an array of offensive spots that usually does not come from a newcomers in the ring. Of course, Cargill picked up the pinfall victory in her debut match, hitting the wheelbarrow facebuster on Red Velvet. Jade's ring attire is inspired by X-Men Storm. I'm saying, give her the part. She personifies that. She is built for Storm. When Jade Cargill found herself in the finals of the TBS Championship Tournament, AEW Dynamite, Cargill came to the ring dressed as Storm from the X-Men, complete with white hair and some Wind Rider-inspired gear and cape. Jade overpowered Ruby Soho to become the inaugural TBS champion. This attire excited fans of both comic books and wrestling alike, but all the aspects of the cosplay were for just one night. Jade continues to rock the signature white hair of Storm with each appearance. I think this is before AEW. Well, yeah, Jade Cargill is a pretty decent wrestler. Some in the community do not like her. I like her. And shout out to Brian Hogland and Russell Inc. for the stuff. For the news. Alright, let's look up this one. 30 best wrestlers under 30 in 2025, ranked by Wrestling Inc. Okay, let's check this out. The prime years of an athlete are very dependent on the spot. In a sports like soccer, for example, a player's prime years often begin in the mid to late 20s before subsidizing it in their early to mid 30s. While sports that require more endurance, like a marathon runner, will usually have a prime age between 30 and 40. However, it's common for athletes to start younger and get a high level at the earliest age possible for the chance to have a longer career. When it comes to professional wrestling, there are performers still wrestling on a regular basis as early as their teen years, as well as those who are still wrestling into their 60s. And in case of Dory Funk Jr., for example, he had a match in August 2024 at the age of 83. Whoa! With that said, a professional wrestler's prime usually sits somewhere after turning 30, as the body has become accustomed to taking bumps. Their character and their personas are more fleshed out, and they've been around the block enough to have their psychology and in-ring awareness down, that they are comfortable wrestling on the biggest stages. We here at Wrestling Inc. have put together the best athletes and of performers under the age of 30. So sit back and relax and get ready. If you're over the age of 30, if you feel like you've accomplished a very little in your own life compared to the 30 wrestlers under the age of 30. Yeah. Sal Ruka, I'll give them that. I think she should be a little up in that list, but to prove how competitive this list is, the current NXT Women's North America Champion, Sal Ruka, kicks off at number 30. The 25-year-old is one of the brightest graduates from the WWE Performance Center, who doesn't have a wrestling background, instead coming from the world of acrobatics and tumbling. However, her lack of experience in the business hasn't stopped her from being an exciting young talent that lights up Tuesday nights, especially with her Soul Snatcher finishing move, a move that considered to be one of the coolest finishes in all of wrestling. Megan Bayne is at 29 and she is 27. After years of speculation as to whether she was actually signed to All Elite Wrestling, Megan Bayne has become a stoic presence on AEW programming in 2025 and looks to have a big future ahead of her. Towering over many of her colleagues in the division, the Megasis originally made a name for herself working for Stardom in Japan, but now that she is a full-time in the United States, when she does eventually get her hands on gold, expect her to have a long title reign filled with dominant performances. Alright, next up we got Hologram, AEW 26. Lucha Libre fans are very excited to learn that the man formerly known as RMS was signed to AEW and would be Tony Khan's new pet project. Hologram is what a journey it's been so far. Hologram kind of reminds me of that one guy, you know, the din 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 din. Just by the look of him. The 26-year-old debuted in the summer of 2024 and still to this day has the longest active winning streak in AEW, as he has not lost a single match of any variety since his debut. A total of 31 wins. AEW have seen him become one of the fastest rising stars in the company. Alright, we got Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Given that they are virtually inseparable at this point, it was only right that we include both Nathan Frazier and Axiom together under their tag team name Fraxium. Establishing themselves on WWE NXT is one of the best unlikely duels in the business. Their reigns as NXT Tag Team Champions were a key staple in the Shawn Michaels era of WWE's third brand. Now on the main roster, Fraxium are one of the reasons why the SmackDown Tag Team division is flourishing right now. Are you sure about that? Okay. Kusei Fujita, NWGPW, New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is a young cat right here. Kosei Fujita was taken under the wing of Zack Sabre Jr. and effectively grew up in front of the NWJP fans every week, which turned out to be the best decision he ever made. At just 23 years old, he has already won the Super Junior Tag League with Robbie Eagles, used that tournament to win the capture of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, and in June 2025 he became the youngest man in history to win the best of the Super Juniors tournament. He is the future of the Junior Heavyweight division, and he's just getting started. Alright, Daniel Garcia from AEW. At 26, over the past 4 years since signing with AEW, Daniel Garcia has evolved into a young man who is technically sound in the ring, easy to root for, and can hang with the best of AEW has to offer. Already with an AEW TNT Championship reign under his belt, with the fact that he is with the company for the foreseeable future, if Tony Khan can find a story for Garcia to truly sink his teeth into, he will be a main eventing AEW pay-per-view sooner rather than later. Jordan Grace, age 29. Well, I'm not a big fan of Jordan. I used to be a big fan of Jordan Grace, but not this Jordan Grace. As we all know, a lot of people have been speculating that she has been juicing. But, you know, she has yet to be caught by WWE, the wellness policy. Debuting at age 16 back in 2012, Jordan Grace has gone from an indie standout to one of the most dominant performers in the history of TNA Knockouts division, and the success naturally caught the eye of WWE, who signed her to a full-time deal in early 2025. This time next year, Grace won't be eligible for this list as she turns 30 in March. But if she's in her 30s are spent on WWE's main roster, she could replicate her TNA dominance on either WWE Raw or SmackDown. Utami Hayashishita, forgive me for butchering her name. Her 6-year run with Stardom, in particular her 2021 feud with Syuri, helped cement her status as one of the most in-demand women of all of wrestling, since being the crown jewel of Rossio Kosago's new promotion. Utami now gets the chance to prove herself. Alright, Kevin Knight at number 22, AEW. He is 28 years old, a graduate of the NJPW dojo in the Los Angeles, California. The Jet Kevin Knight was going to be given a tryout by WWE in early 25, but AEW decided to go all in on the former NJPW star. And what an investment it's been. Currently teaming with Speedball Mike Bailey as a part of Jet Speed, Knight has all the makings of a top singles star in AEW, with his incredible athleticism, natural charisma, and personality that make you feel genuine and likable. Alright, Billy Starks, AEW 20. The youngest member of the AEW's women's division was still in high school when the company was founded in 2019. Billy Starks has one of the highest ceilings in all of wrestling. Debuting at the age of 13, something legitimately led to her high school teachers asking her if everything was okay at home, since she kept showing up to class with bumps and bruises. Starks has already established herself as one who wrestles with reckless abandon, and under the guidance of the fallen goddess Athena as her top minion. Blake Monroe, formerly known as Mariah May. WWE fans are just getting to know Blake Monroe after her debut in June 2025, but the longtime fans of her will know her as Mariah May. She was one of the talked about women in both Stardom and AEW. Her feud with timeless Toni Storm in AEW has gone down as one of the greatest women feuds of all time. Their Hollywood ending at Revolution 2025 Revolution is seen by many as perhaps the greatest women's match to take place on American soil. And if WWE unlocks that version of her, Monroe will easily rise to the top of the WWE's women's division. Lyra Valkyria. I like her. 2025 has been a breakout year for the Dublin's own Lyra Valkyria, as her feud with Becky Lynch over the Women's Intercontinental Championship and the honorary title of the best female wrestler in WWE to come from Ireland has taken this bird to new heights on WWE's main roster, and Valkyria is already mixing it up with the best that WWE has to offer, a style that incorporates all of the European influences as well as what she's picked up in the WWE Performance Center, make her unlike anyone else on the roster. Oh, here we go. The man that makes things bouncy, Javon Evans. Perhaps the bounciest inclusion on the list. Javon Evans might only be 21 years old, but he has carved out a reputation as being one of the most entertaining wrestlers in the world. After a breakout run as Jay Malachi in DPW, Evans signed with WWE and immediately leaped into the hearts of the NXT fans with his off-the-wall style, with experience on the indies, and in his back pocket. When Evan does eventually leap onto WWE's main roster, expect him to grow and evolve at an accelerated rate. 18. Dominic Mysterio, 28. Who would have thought the little boy who Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero fought over at SummerSlam 2005 would grow up to become one of the biggest heels in all of wrestling? When Dominic first debuted in WWE, there were some skeptics who thought he wouldn't be able to do much. However, since becoming Dirty Dom, the 28-year-old is on course to being a WrestleMania main eventer with a unique style that blends classic lucha libre with more Americanized WWE style. Mascara Dorada.
He's only 23 from CMLL. Not to be confused with former Mascara Dorada, who went on to become the Grand Metalik in WWE. The former Panterita Del Ring Jr. has taken the name for himself, and at just 23 years old, he is seen as many as a feature of Lucha Libre. He's routinely in big match situations in CMLL, and his stock has only risen in the past year thanks to his frequent appearances in both AEW and Ring of Honor. If CML continues its current hot streak, Dorada will be at the forefront of the company in crucial time. Masha Slamovich, without question, one of the toughest women in the business today, for the simple fact that she has not only fought and beaten almost as many men as she has women. Masha Slamovich originally debuted in Japan, but it's her more recent work in places like GCW where she's been able to showcase her deathmatch skills, and in TNA where she becomes one of the biggest names in Knockouts division. Her match with Jordan Grace at Bound for Glory 2024 was voted as the company's match of the year. Number 14, Leon Slater. 20-year-old Leon Slater has stood out from the UK indie scene with his incredible high-flying style, complete with his Swanton 450 splash finisher that a young Jeff Hardy would be proud of. Already signed to TNA while still competing regularly in the UK. Slater has recently won the TNA X Division Championship and was publicly endorsed by AJ Styles, proving how bright Slater's future in the company in wrestling really is. Starlight Kid, Stardom 24. Starlight Kid might only be 24, but at the time of writing, but she is already course of winning virtually everything Stardom has to offer before she leaves her 20s. The current Wonder of Stardom champion, as well as one of the third of the Artists of Stardom champions, Starlight Kid debuted at 14 with the love of Lucha Libre, and that has made her the most must-see talent in Japan. Every match of hers feels like you're watching a match on 2x speed, making her matches feel almost addictive to watch, given how much the adrenaline rush they tend to be. And here's my favorite. Number 12, who should be upper on the list, Oba Femi. And Shawn Michaels booked this man well, and I just don't want him to be on the main roster because I don't want him to be ruined by Triple H, because Triple H is a crap shit booker. Alright, let's get in there. One of the most destructive forces in the history of WWE NXT, Oba Femi spent the vast majority of 2024 as the NXT North American champion, and has spent all of 2025 so far as the NXT champion for good reason. Femi is unlike anyone who has stepped through the doors of the Performance Center. He's as strong as three men put together, agile enough to keep up with people half his size, and over the past 2 years, he has developed an untouchable reputation in the Orlando, Florida, because he knows just how good he is. Number 11, this guy should be higher. This guy has the tools to be a main eventer in WWE, and that is Braun Breaker, who's the current leader of the Vision. Braun Breaker is one of the most frightening men in WWE. His football background has made him so quick and powerful that performers could be minding their own business one moment and speared out of their shoes the next. Having already won championships in WWE, Breaker is now getting a big push towards the main event scene under the tutelage of Paul Heyman, and if he does follow in the footsteps of his father, Rick Steiner, and his uncle Scott, Braun Breaker will have a long and eventful career ahead of him. 10. El Hijo del Vikingo. American fans were already familiar with El Hijo del Vikingo through his appearances in AEW Ring of Honor, With his AEW debut against Kenny Omega still regarded as one of the greatest showcase matches of the past few years. Since then, injuries have set Viking back a touch, but he's still able to perform moves that literally no one else in the business can do. And now he's getting to strut his stuff in front of a WWE audience, Vikingo will be the driving force behind AAA for many years to come. All right, number 9, Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd, New Japan Pro Wrestling, age 28. On the current crop of NJPW talent who are helping the company transition out of its 2010 golden age, all eyes are on Gabe Kidd. Already with a reputation for being a bit unhinged, Kidd is positioning himself as one of the NJPW's top gaijins by force. His match with Kenny Omega at Russell Dynasty literally made Hiroshi Tanahashi cry. He's held multiple championships over the past 12 months, and while some NJPW fans aren't happy with him taking trips to AEW to help the Death Riders, Kidd wants to be the man to carry NJPW into the future. Number 8, AZM Stardom, 22. Currently one third of the artists of Stardom champions, along with the aforementioned Starlight Kid, as well as technically handling Mercedes Moné, one of her only losses since leaving WWE when she captured the NJPW Strong Women's Championship. AZM is a young woman who has already taken Japan by storm, a fireball of an athlete who fans in the West have become familiar with. Thanks to her cameos in both AEW and Ring of Honor, AZM is someone around who Stardom could build the entire company. The Roxanne Perez, number 7. The youngest member of WWE's main roster lands at number 7. Roxanne Perez became the first ever Ring of Honor's World Champion back in 2021 at just 19 years old, who signed to a WWE contract in 2022, held the NXT Women's Championship on 2 separate occasions, and is getting a regular screen time as a member of the Judgment Day. Perez is flourishing on WWE Raw with one of the most stacked women's divisions in the world to bounce off of. She's one of the safest bets anyone can have when it comes to the question of who will be the next queen of WWE. And number 6, Momo Watanabe, Stardom, 25. As an entrant who is more deserving of her top 10 finish thanks to the fact that she has just won Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix, defeating ACM in the final, no less. But even before that victory, there was no way we were leaving Momo Watanabe out of this list. The 25-year-old is an absolute killer in between the ropes, wrestling with a level of hatred and spite that has kept her in around the main event scene in Stardom for almost a decade. Watanabe has also proven she could cross over to the United States seamlessly with fantastic matches against Mercedes Moné in AEW and NJPW Strong. With all the experience she has at such a young age, Watanabe will be looking to reach the pinnacle of Stardom in the coming years. MJF, number 5. Beginning our top 5 is the salt of the earth himself, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. MJF was already a standout performer on the independent scene before he signed with AEW in 2019, a move that would see him positioned as the homegrown heel that the company wanted to push to the moon. But MJF didn't just deliver on the mic, he delivered in the ring. MJF is back amongst the AEW World Championship scene, heading back into 2025. With his 30s just around the corner, expect Friedman to potentially cement himself as an AEW legend in the next few years. Number 4, timeless Tony Storm. Out of everyone who we voted for, the one person who people said they're under 30 years old is the current, well, former AEW World Champion as we speak, is the current AEW Women's World Champion. Timeless Tony Storm originally broke onto the scene during the UK indie boom of the 2010s, as well as the rise of Stardom before joining WWE, but it was her move to AEW in 2022 that has seen her be regarded as one of the best women's wrestlers of her generation. Her timeless gimmick has seen her become one of the biggest stars in all of wrestling, and someone who Tony Khan has naturally built his entire women's division around. Number 3, Rhea Ripley, taking the bronze medal in our own countdown. Everyone's favorite mammy, Rhea Ripley. Ripley is almost unrecognizable from her time in both WWE NXT and WWE NXT UK, where she has already been touted as the future WrestleMania main eventer, but no one could ever foreseen the run that she would eventually go on. The 5th ever Women's Grand Slam champion, the first woman to win the Royal Rumble match from the number 1 spot, she genuinely can make the claim of being one of the biggest stars in all of wrestling. God only knows what Mammy has in store for everyone when she turns 30 in October 2026. Kyle Fletcher, AEW 26. Kyle Fletcher was always a promising talent dating back to his time on the UK Indies and in NJPW as a part of an Aussie Open, but it was ironically when he was forced to fly solo due to an injury of his partner Mark Davis that Fletcher's stock really started to grow. He aligned himself with Don Callis and started facing the biggest stars in AEW, and when he finally decided to turn heel in October 2024, the rocket was strapped to his back. Over the past year, Fletcher has gone from someone who was a reliable mid-card talent in AEW to a bona fide superstar who will almost certainly win the AEW World Championship in the next 3 to 5 years, currently reigning as the AEW TT champion and building himself up as one of the top heels in the business. The Protostar will be headlining AEW's biggest events sooner rather than later. Number 1, Sareee Freelancer. Quite simply, Sareee has become one of the best wrestlers in the world over the past few years, and she has done it without technically having a home promotion. Before her ill-fated WWE run, she was having classic matches in places like Sunday Girls, Diana, and the Sea Laning. Since her return to Japan in 2023, she has become the woman to book when it comes to the world of Joshi. All right. Now, we are 40 minutes in to our thing. Let's take a look at some sports Kita. Let's get some NFL news here. The Cowboys managed to win. Let's look at this one. Skip Bayless questions long-term contract for George Pickens after Cowboys insider exposes his disciplinary issues. George Pickens has had an excellent start to his career with the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys acquired Pickens via trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the wide receiver has already posted 908 yards and 7 touchdowns on 58 receptions. Amid Pickens' excellent spell with the Cowboys, there have been suggestions that the team might offer the receiver a blockbuster extension. However, veteran analyst Skip Bayless has issued somewhat of a warning for Dallas amid rumors of the team offering Pickens a new deal. I did not love it when I love it that CeeDee Lamb and Pickens missed curfew in Vegas, but now comes word that Pickens missed the team bus and that he has been late to numerous meetings. Scary sign kind of behavior that made Mike Tomlin get rid of him. Now do you give him a huge deal? Bayless tweeted Saturday. Pickens was benched for the Cowboys' first drive in Week 11 against the Las Vegas Raiders. It was later confirmed that Dallas started Pickens and fellow wideout CeeDee Lamb from the bench due to disciplinary reasons. Pickens will be a free agent after 2025 season. However, Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer is in favor of keeping the wideout on a long-term deal. Very in favor of having a long-term future with us, Schottenheimer said on Tuesday. It will be interesting to see how the Cowboys negotiate with Pickens if they can plan to keep him for the long haul. Or you can trade him. But I think the trading deadline is already passed. George Pickens and the Cowboys 4-5-1 tie will look to lock horns with the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 8-2 in Week 12 of the NFL season on Sunday. The game will get underway at 4:25 p.m., which I'll definitely look. Pickens is expected to play an important role for the Dallas Cowboys in the coming weeks. If the team is to make the playoffs, the wideout has already established an excellent partnership with the Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. Shout out to Sportskeeda for this source. Alright, let's go to the NBA. Right now, the Cowboys. Right now, the Spurs are without. Let's go to the San Antonio Spurs because I do Spurs news. Well, I mean, the injury bug is currently happening for the Spurs, but how David Jones-Garcia proved the Spurs could be fine amid Stephen Castle and Dylan Harper injuries. Despite their already substantial depth at guard spots, the San Antonio Spurs gave David Jones-Garcia a two-way contract in July. The Spurs could not let DJG walk away after an impressive 2026 Summer League outing where he had earned a first-team nod. Jones-Garcia's signing could not have been more beneficial with the Spurs amid injuries to Stephen Castle and Dylan Harper. Not to mention we are without Wembanyama either. With more playing time, the 6'5" guard delivered a tally 12.6 assists and 5 rebounds and steals and 1 block in 19 minutes. DJG earned the game ball, and the Spurs win against the Hawks. David Jones-Garcia proved himself a capable leader, showing that he can run the offense in crucial stretches. His efficient shooting impact on both ends contributed to San Antonio's best plus-minus on the floor. Jones-Garcia proved on-court stability, shooting, and playmaking that the Spurs urgently need. Stephen Castle, hip, and Dylan Harper, calf, are out for at least a few more weeks. Jones-Garcia showed that the Spurs could stay afloat with him as De'Aaron Fox's backup. Alright, let's go back. Or not. So we already covered the Spurs, pro wrestling. Now we can do some. Let's get a little palate cleansers for y'all. And let's check out my Sora page. That's if it As if this cooperates here. There we go. We'll let that load. And then afterwards... Alright, here we go. So, as y'all know, I decided to create a wrestling persona. You know, it started with just WrestleMania 2000, right? So, what I wanted to do was, you know, make content and see what happens if I post it. Here's one of my. We're gonna look at this one.
Excuse me, do you really have to dress like that out here? There are families around. It's obnoxious.
Lady, I'm just chilling.
Well, you're making a scene.
Shut up, bitch.
See, it's stuff
Excuse
like
me.
that. It's stuff like
You wanna know where
that I enjoy, you know.
southeast side of San?
But, you know, I have a lot of. Most of these are made for fun, not to be taken seriously. I don't really take myself that serious.
3,000 because
It's just fun. It's just fun.
hair, keep my head down, and follow the rules. I grew it long. You want to know why I don't play nice? Because I'm not here to fit in. They told me to cut my hair, keep my head down, and follow the rules. I grew it longer, tied it back, and painted the world in black. You want to know why?
One fight, we won't back down tonight. Feel the roar. We're breaking every chain. Lightning in our veins.
Sure to check out Network 3000.
TikTok thinks they can ban me? Look at this. You shut down my account, you try to quiet? Degeneration Jess, I got 2 words for you. Suck it! Ban me all you want. The generation rolls on.
Who picks the songs in here? This track's awful. Walmart never has good music.
Step away from the display.
Relax, I'm just telling the truth.
Put the speaker down.
How about I drop a new hit instead?
Wait.
Shoppers, this is Degeneration Jess speaking live on your PA.
Hold on. So Walmart doesn't really have good music, but now all of a sudden they're starting to do that. Like I recently got Limp Biscuits, chocolate starfish, and a hot dog flavored water at over there, and it had a parental guidance sticker, so that's awesome. All right.
Hey, y'all know what that means. I got 2 words for you. Huh? Suck it!
Hey, y'all on the clock? I got 2 words for you.
We'll help you find something.
Yeah, you can help by catching these 2 words. Suck it.
What? Seriously?
Don't forget it.
Maybe after the show we could grab a drink or something.
I appreciate it, but I'm not interested, Jess.
What? All right then. You know what? Suck it.
Yeah.
Ladies, I saw y'all laughing.
See all this behind me? This whole aisle knows the name. Degeneration Jess just rolled in. And when I roll in, shelves shake, price tags tremble, and every champion in the game looks for
Invitations.
Game's been out for a couple of weeks.
Strolling through San
Afternoon, Walmart. Degeneration Jess taking a stroll. See what trouble we
All right.
The night feels heavy. I still believe in the
Antonio flashing on the floor.
Renegades.
Up, everybody, it's
Let's take a look at some more stuff.
Quit screaming. Crash up the storm. We turn it louder than ever. Spinning lights on the southeast side.
Want to know where Degeneration Jess was built? Southeast side of San Antonio. Right there between the train tracks and the taquerias.
Fire in the streets, we never back down. San Antonio screaming, bring the walls down.
Excuse me, do you really have to dress like that out here?
But yeah, pretty much you could see those on.
Excuse me, do you
Excuse me, that. Look Degeneration Jess up on Sora. You will not regret it.
suck, man. Degeneration.
wants display?
It's my. What's the problem?
Sir, that shirt.
Love the blazer. I'm Jess.
Thanks, I'm Karen.
Nice to meet you, Karen. You from around here?
Born and raised, you?
I'm in town wrestling tomorrow night. Thought I'd soak up the pearl first.
All right.
Any chance you'd let me take you to grab some tacos before the show? Love the blazer. I'm Jess.
Thanks, I'm Karen.
Nice to meet you, Karen.
All right.
Excuse me, that shirt is completely inappropriate. There are kids walking.
I did a thing with Karen's, which is pretty hilarious. But yeah, those are the palate cleansers. So we are coming towards the 1 hour mark. I would like to thank the subscribers that have joined my channel, Jester Gaming. Sharante Reed, Gianna Simon, Sander Kamayu. I would like to thank each and every one of you. There's more content to be. There's going to be more gaming content. I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be definitely working on some more. WWE 2K25 content. I will also be getting the DLCs, and we'll be continuing tonight. I'll be streaming, or later on today I'll be streaming before we do this show. I'll be doing I'll be playing maybe some NBA courtside again, like I did yesterday, or we'll just continue on playing WWF No Mercy. So,
San Antonio, baby.
Excuse me, do you really have to dress like that?
Oh, Jess, you suck, man. Degenerate.
The city.
oh, that's so good.
Bye.
That's some funny stuff. But yes, so I would like to thank y'all for joining me today, right here on the David 3000 Network. We will be back for episode 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then the 10 will be the season finale. So with that being said, be sure to look me up at Degeneration Jess. You will find my Jester Gaming channel, and then you can look me up under the handle Jesse Havoc, and you will find Jester and Chains YouTube channel. So far I'm leaning towards continuing my stuff on both channels, but I do want to eventually just stick to one. I'm definitely looking to start over on, well, I was originally going to start streaming on TikTok during the weekdays, for like games and stuff. But that fell through for some reason. I still haven't gotten any reason why I was banned from TikTok. But we'll see what happens. With that being said, this is Degeneration Jess. And if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. I'm not going to say them on here, but peace.